Okay. Okay, this time we're going to get through the New All in the Family episode 27, and I don't know why it's not. Okay, there we go. Although actually I could do it like this. This will be good. Okay, the New All in the Family episode 27. Fade in. Internal. UC Irvine Dean's Office Day. It looks like the office of a corporate executive, only with school logos and a couple of commemorative plaques. Whoops. Boy, that jumped. How do we get all the way down to the middle of the document? All right, but it's in the other one. So, Dean Watkins, a well-dressed, medium-height man in his early 50s with dark hair, with only a few strands of gray, looking younger than Joey despite his really being older, is sitting at his desk, looking half occupied, half waiting for someone. In walks Mike, dressed casually as usual. Dean Watkins, not getting up or smiling, but gesturing. Hello, Mike. Have a seat. Mike, sitting down. Dean Watkins. Dean Watkins. Thank you for coming in. Mike, I won't beat around. I called you in because a complaint was filed against you for sexual harassment that allegedly took place in 2002. Mike. You're kidding. Really? Dean Watkins. I never kid. They start to talk over each other, not waiting, but completing each sentence. Dean Watkins. Unfortunately, I can't go into the details of this complaint, Mike. Well, I'm glad you, Dean Watkins, because the school has a policy, Mike. Called me in then, Dean Watkins, of strict confidence, Mike, so you can find the truth, Dean Watkins, regarding anyone who files a complaint. Mike. Well, I know, but do I get a chance to state my case? Dean Watkins. Oh, you have a case? Mike. You know what I mean, Dean Watkins. Dean Watkins. Listen, Mike, cases like this have nothing to do with real events. I'm sure you have a very compelling argument for your innocence. However, Mike, you're letting me go, aren't you? Dean Watkins. Unfortunately, Mike, yes. You see, as much as I want to keep the realm of education and this school pure and without politics, it just isn't possible in 2022. Mike. 2022? You make it sound like this was a pure ivory tower until something happened to justify sullying it with the very corruption I was teaching students to stay clear of. What happens to them now when they see this example? Dean Watkins. They're not going to see this example. You are retiring yourself as of today with nothing said other than personal or family business you have to attend to that prevents you from doing your duties as the esteemed member of the faculty that you are. Mike. You're kidding me. And you don't think the students won't see right through that? Dean Watkins, keeping his relaxed demeanor. Some will. Look, Mike, I know the whole stigma of cancel culture that the Me Too movement represents is unfair, but remember, Mike, oh, don't bring that in. Dean Watkins, this is a government-run institution that also has a lot of private donors, Mike aside to self-low voice. He brings it in, Dean Watkins, and a very public image, especially in this community and around the world where much of our student base hails from. I know you have strong views, but I still think it's wisest if you accept our severance agreement, put this matter behind you, whatever sparked this accusation, and go quietly. Mike. I don't believe you. I feel like I'm being strong-armed by a mafia hitman. Dean Watkins. You are. But don't worry, I'm a big fan of those old Brando and Scorsese movies. By the way, I'd be very careful using inflammatory language like mafia, maybe even hitman, in today's very ethno-sensitive political atmosphere. Now I need you to sign an agreement that indemnifies you, as well as the university, from any legal action taken in connection with the alleged incident, as well as protecting us from any retaliatory action, including written documents. Now I know you are supporting your family, and the last thing you need in this tense economic climate in our country is more financial stress. Mike, now really excited. Dean Watkins, you just hit at the core of everything I spent my life teaching people to stand up to. Dean Watkins. Yes, the truth is very inconvenient, isn't it? Mike. Yeah, and I wish you'd stay away from it and stick to running the university. Dean Watkins. I am. Theme song inserted here. Internal, external, Mike's car, day. Mike is driving with tension on his face. Mike. Is this Idina? Idina, voiceover, filtered, Bluetooth. Yes, this is. May I ask who this is? Mike. It's Mike. Long pause. Mike waits anxiously. Mike. You don't remember me? Shorter pause. Mike Stivic. Idina, voiceover, filtered, Bluetooth. Mike Stivic? I'm sorry, it doesn't ring a bell. Mike. Professor Stivic from UC Irvine. Intercut. Internal. Academic office of some kind, day. Idina is a middle-aged African-American woman in her 50s, well-groomed for a professional setting, with short cropped hair and a professional demeanor. Idina, lighting up. Oh, Mike Stivic from UC Irvine. How have you been? Mike. Well, I'd like to say fine, but I just lost my job there. Do you know anything about that? Idina, suspicious. I'm sorry, how'd you get my number? End intercut. Mike. It wasn't easy. Idina, voiceover, filtered, nervous. I'm sorry, I have to go now. Mike. Wait, I just need to know. Did you file a harassment complaint? Silence. Mike drives on, looking a mixture of worried and angry. External, Jenny's front door, day. Giselle rings the bell. No answer for what seems a long time while Giselle tries to stand straight in front of the door. She rings again to silence. She rings a few more times. Eventually, she leans her weight into the closed door. Giselle, struggling to yell, but can only manage a slow, feeble wail. Jenny! Big yawn. Oh, God. I'm really whoop now. Where am I going to go? Relaxing her muscles, she allows herself to slink down to the ground, where she shifts her body to lean backwards against Jenny's door. She brings out her phone and types a few strokes, while her eyelids lose their grip and start to close as the phone continues to ring and her legs sprawl out in front of her. She almost loses her grip on the phone and her full consciousness as the ringing continues. Roseanne, Giselle's mom, voiceover, filtered, serious voice. Hello? Giselle, very sloppy, lazy, tired. Hello, Mom? It's Roseanne, Giselle's mom, voiceover, filtered, monologue continuing. This is Roseanne. Giselle. Giselle. Roseanne, Giselle's mom, voiceover, filtered. Leave a message, unless you're a scammer or a Democrat, in which case run for your life, because we're coming for you. Voicemail beep sound. Giselle, practically mumbling, almost completely inaudible. Oh, great, Mom. You're not there either. Call me, because I need a place. Her body sinks into unconsciousness as her head lowers and she seems to pass out. Internal, Samantha's hospital room, day. She's getting out of her bed with the assistance of the nurses, and Dr. Moorfield is onlooking. The nurses are trying to be very careful, each one holding one arm up to help her up. Samantha seems to get up without difficulty, but partly resists the nurses and tries to move independently. Samantha. It's okay, I can do it on my own. Nurse, smiling. That's really great, honey. But you've been bedridden for a while, so we have to assist you to make sure you'll be okay and not fall. At just that moment, Samantha stumbles, and the nurses tighten their grip on her as the three of them stand there. Nurse, see? Samantha. But I gotta get out of here. I got my school. Second nurse, humorously. If I had a bill for every patient that said they gotta get out of here. Samantha. What am I gonna do? Second nurse. You'll take it easy, one step at a time. Samantha. No, you don't understand. Dr. Moorfield. Samantha, I appreciate that you're eager to get back to your life. And you will. Samantha, focusing on him as trustworthy to her. I'm so behind in my schoolwork. First it was the pandemic, then it was my crazy family. I already told you about the Black Lives Matter protest and the number it did on me. Please help me. I just want to get back to normal. Dr. Moorfield. You will. I promise you. We will do everything in our power. You're way ahead of a lot of people. I see many teenagers who freak out over a lot less. You have something real to freak out over, and we'll work through it. Samantha, relaxing a little into a smile. Thank you. Okay, let me keep trying. I'm not used to being held like this. She puts her feet forward, which is less of a struggle, but still problematic. Samantha, to nurse. I know you want to hold me, but maybe if you let go, it would be easier. First nurse. Don't you have a companion who I've seen coming here to visit you? Samantha. You mean Kamala? First nurse. Don't you and she sometimes hold hands? Samantha. Yeah, but not the way you're holding me, like you gotta grip me. Dr. Moorfield. Don't worry, Samantha. We'll get you mobile and on your own in no time. She ambles along as she's supported by the nurses out of her room. Internal, hospital corridor, day. Samantha and the two nurses holding each arm continue at the slow pace they're guiding her. Dr. Moorfield follows behind. First nurse. Now, loosen grip a little. Let's try it again. You try walking on your own. As the nurses let go but keep close, Samantha walks with no difficulty and a huge smile forms. First nurse, also smiling. There you go. Internal, Walensky's office, day. Walensky, dressed up for court, is sitting at a desk looking similar to the one in Dean Watkins' office, on the other side of which, as in the dean's office, sits Mike in a no-frills chair across the space of the desk and about a foot back. Walensky is intently focused on some legal document. Walensky, with heavy breath. Looks like you just signed your career away. Mike. Gerald, I had to. They gave me no choice. Walensky. You made the right move, Mike. This contract was carefully drawn up with every contingency in mind. But it doesn't leave you in a good position at all. Mike. Sure doesn't. For one thing, I wasn't prepared to be suddenly drained of practically all my resources. Walensky. Unfortunately, I don't think you'll get very far by challenging it, though. Mike. You mean there's no legal option? Walensky. Well, in the pure sense, there's always options. Mike. What are they? Walensky. Well, you could take it to court, but chances are you're probably not going to get a good outcome. And with a harassment case like this, a well-funded university in California can always hire a lawyer who can get you put away if they want that. Not to mention, you told me this woman herself is apparently a well-recognized and well-respected person in education who has written books and published articles. So she's got resources too. Mike. Gerald, tell me, why would she even want to do something like this at this time? Like, why would she wait so long and then file suit? I dated her 20 years ago. If anything had happened, which it didn't, why wouldn't she have gone right after me? Walensky. You were in a senior position, right? Mike. Yeah. I was her tutor, her mentor. She was my teaching assistant. Walensky. And you dated her. Don't you see the setup and the implications of that? Mike. You know what? I don't think it's her at all. I think it's the university succumbing to political and economic pressure to cut people like me who are uncompromisingly critical of the system and the hypocrisy that still abounds. Walensky. You may have a point, because even though most women were still too afraid to challenge a senior in a professional setting in 2002, most of them did come out about 5 years ago. But honestly, Mike, since you are already having to deal with the legal troubles surrounding Josh, plus helping your kids move ahead with a college education, I think it's your best bet is to put the matter behind you and just cut your living expenses. Mike. Wow. And they ain't cheap. Walensky. That includes your donations to charities. Mike. And I had promised to donate something to Europe for the winter when those huge heating costs are really going to bite. I remember how bitterly cold Chicago was. I hate to think what Stockholm. Walensky. Yeah, I get the point. And your political donations, too. Mike. But the Democrats really need me in these tight races. especially since my voting power with this unfair electoral college amounts to nothing. Walensky chuckles. Mike, as well endowed as you might have been up to now, you alone are not going to make that big a difference, either in heating Europe or saving America. But your family needs you, and you can make a big difference to them. I know I'm your legal, not financial advisor, but common sense and my expertise in the law dictate that you cut back and prepare for your own financial winter. Mike shrinks back, deflated, in the no-frills chair like, since it is so small and uncushioned, a high school student would. Mike. And to think nothing really happened. Walensky. What can I tell you, Mike? Life isn't fair, but you still got it a hell of a lot better than most people. External, Jenny's front door day. A few uniformed police officers are standing above a collapsed and unconscious Giselle, slumped on the ground next to Jenny's door as we left her. Her phone is ringing. One of the officers keeps ringing Jenny's bell while aggressively knocking at her door. An officer crouches down and kneels over Giselle, while the third officer stands and keeps watch. The crouching officer tugs lightly at Giselle's body. Giselle's phone keeps ringing. Crouching officer, Tannen. Ma'am, pushes more, a little harder. Ma'am, are you okay? Giselle moves a little in response, pulling away from the officer while the phone keeps ringing. She slumps over in the other direction, and the ringing stops. Officer Tannen. Ma'am, come on, wake up. Jenny's door opens slightly, and Jenny appears in a white nightgown, sleepy and tired-looking, as well as perplexed. Jenny. What's going on? Oh, don't tell me Tom's in trouble again. What now, officer? Third officer, Stewart. I guess you don't know, but you got a lady sleeping on your doorstep. Jenny. What? Are you kidding me? He looks and sees Giselle in Officer Tannen's loose grip. Jenny, shocked. Giselle, what happened to you? To officers. Wait, I'll take it from here. Second officer, James. We need to make sure she's okay. Jenny. She's my friend, officer. I can vouch for her. She's fine. She's just exhausted from a lot of stress at home. Officer Tannen. It's okay, Travers. She's got a pulse and she's sure breathing. Looks like just exhaustion. To Jenny. You going to be able to get her onto a bed or couch? Jenny. Don't worry. I can handle her. She's just exhausted. She just needs to sleep it off. I don't know how she managed to get here and then collapse, but we were together last night, and she probably overestimated how tired she still is. I'll get her to bed and call her house to let them know she's okay. Officer Tannen. Okay, but just make sure she's okay and call 911 if you can't rouse her into consciousness. Jenny, standing over Giselle, smacking face. Giselle, honey, you gotta get off. I got you now. Giselle pulls away from Jenny, wheezing and sighing some noises of displeasure. Her phone rings again. Jenny pulls Giselle up off the ground and nods to the officers. Jenny. After handling two rambunctious children like mine, you're capable of anything. Officer Tannen. All right, ma'am. If you could just sign this report we have to fill out, and we'll be on our way. Phone keeps ringing. Jenny, clearly hands full. All right, if you don't mind, let me just get her settled first, pulling her arms forcefully. Honey, someone's trying to call you. To officers. Let me get her on the couch first. No, that's okay. I'll be all right. Officer Tannen. We still need you to sign the report. It's official procedure. As the ringing continues, she moves Giselle's limp body onto the couch. Jenny. Boy, you took a good one. Giselle, becoming conscious. Huh? She reaches blindly on her body for her phone, unsuccessfully as the ringing continues. Jenny. You want me to get that, honey? Let me answer it. It might be important. Giselle incoherently. Nah, to voicemail. Jenny simultaneously grabbing phone from Giselle's purse. Hello? Roseanne, Giselle's mom, voiceover filtered on speakerphone. Honey, are you okay? Jenny. No, this is not honey. This is her I mean her close friend. Roseanne, Giselle's mom, voiceover filtered. Let me speak to her. Is she in trouble? Jenny. No, she's in good hands. Who's this? Roseanne, Giselle's mom, voiceover filtered. It's her mother. She called me. She sounded like she needed a place to crash, but I'm a couple thousand miles away. I knew it. It's that husband of hers, that no good Giselle sitting up more coherent. Let me talk to her. Mom? Roseanne, Giselle's mom, voiceover filtered. Is that you, baby? Where are you? He drove you to drink, huh? Giselle. No, it's not all Joey's fault. I'm at my friend Jenny's house. Roseanne, Giselle's mom, voiceover filtered. There you go, defending him again. Meanwhile, you have no place to stay, so you gotta crash at a friend's house. I've been down that road enough times myself. Giselle. Ma, I'm fine. I just panicked. Okay, I just panicked. Stupid phone is just like interrupting me. Now I can't remember where I was. Okay, Ma, I'm fine. I just panicked and didn't know who to call. To Jenny. I'm sorry to bother you, honey. Jenny. No, it's fine. Listen, Ms. Roseanne. Giselle's mom, voiceover filter. It's Mrs. Black. Jenny. Oh, excuse me. To Giselle, hand over phone. Does your mom know we're in the 21st century? Giselle, suddenly noticing the officers. You called the police? What happened? Roseanne, Giselle's mom, voiceover filter. Yeah, that's what I'd like to know, too. Internal, the house, living room, day. Mike, Joey, and Josh are together in the living room. Joey in his comfortable chair. Mike and Josh on the couch. Joey. So let me get this straight. You got fired for sexual harassment? Shakes his head, chuckling. That's incredible. My father, the nerdy college professor, was fooling around. Mike. Hey, I wasn't always nerdy. You just say that 'cause I'm old. Josh. So who was she, Grandpa? Was she really hot? Did you hit on one of your students? Joey. And you think you're going to turn your grades around and get accepted in a big school? You keep your mind on hot girls like this, you're going to end up putting together cars alongside the Mexicans in my shop. Josh. Come on, Grandpa, tell me. How old was she? Joey. You didn't even hear a word I said. Mike is staring vacant into space, really worried, also seeming to hear nothing. Josh. Hey, what if she's almost my age? I'm just trying to picture you with a girl just a couple years older than me. Gross. Joey. Hey, you, what's wrong with you? I thought you were going to turn your life around. What happened to all that studying? Hey, Pops, are you there? Waves hand back and forth. Dad. To Josh. Let me talk to Pops privately. I don't want you going off with your oversexed mind and starting some disgusting porno channel. Scram. Go to your room. Josh. I don't want to. Joey. Well, go anyway. You're in the way. Josh. How am I in the way? I'm not doing anything. Joey. Well, for one thing, you keep interrupting with your smart aleck remarks, and for another thing, you're a pervert. And the last thing I need is two perverts feeding off each other. Just go upstairs and wait so we can talk this out, me and your grandpa. Now get. Josh. I don't want to go. That's why I got this bracelet. Besides, it still smells really bad of pee. Joey. Has it ever occurred to you to get busy and clean it up? Josh. You can't clean up smell because it's not a physical thing. Joey. What do you take me for, an idiot? I work in an auto shop. You take the strongest disinfectant and you scrub your elbows off. If you do it right, by the time you're through, the only thing that room will reek of is strong pneumonia. Josh. Ammonia. Joey. Who cares? Josh. Pneumonia is a disease you die from. Joey. Get your ass up and clean that room or you're going to die from something else. It'll be the first honest day's work you've ever done in your life. Josh, I'll clean it tomorrow, but give me a break from that room for at least one day, please. Joey, then go in the kitchen and wait there. But don't pig out and eat us out of house and home. You and your grandpa got a big appetite when it comes to food, too. Josh, are we still going to do the homeschooling? Mike, I promise you, Josh, I will homeschool you. Go make a sandwich or something, but no cookies. Joey, he's trying to make it so he can scarf down a whole box like he usually does every time he comes over here. Mike, who's trying to scarf down a whole box? Joey, you know who I mean. If the box fits, scarf it down. Mike, you know what? The way I feel, I might just join him. Internal, Samantha's hospital room, day. Kamala rushes in, breathing really hard. Dr. Moorfield is standing next to the bed on which Samantha is sitting up with her feet on the floor. Kamala, I tried to get here as quick as I could. Samantha, relax. They still have to do some paperwork and make sure I can walk without falling. Kamala, why? Did you try to walk and then slip? Samantha, only the first time. But that's partly because all these things were connected to me still. I think it'll still be a lot easier on my own, like normal. Kamala, to Dr. Moorfield. Is it okay if I take her for a walk? Dr. Moorfield, oh, she's okay. In fact, I'd like you to stay close to her for the first few days of her discharge to make sure she's okay. Kamala, sure, doctor. I was going to do that anyway. Dr. Moorfield, Samantha, would you mind if I had a talk with Kamala outside? Samantha, mixed feeling. Yeah, sure, I guess. Internal, hospital patient room, day. Dr. Moorfield enters the room with Kamala. Dr. Moorfield, gesturing to the best chair. Please, have a seat. Kamala, sitting in the chair. Why don't you sit too? You're always standing. Nervous habit? Dr. Moorfield chuckles and sits down. Dr. Moorfield, you got a great sense of humor. Kamala, I guess it's part of being black. But let's get down to business. I know you want to discuss how I need to care for Samantha. And I promise you, Dr. Moorfield, no, actually, I have total confidence in you taking care of Samantha. But I didn't bring you in to talk about Samantha. I want to talk about you. Kamala, startled. What?